Hello, good morning, good evening, Reinhard. I think this is good evening for you. So good evening, Reinhard, and welcome back to our new session.
Thank
Brand new
you, and
topic.
good evening from Bavaria. It's pretty dark outside and also pretty cold. So we have starting the freezing weather.
It is getting colder, but the topic we have is going to make you warmer, and people watching is going to feel more warmer.
A hot topic, yes.
It's a very hot topic, artificial intelligence. Yeah, so it is really a hot cake at the moment, and everybody is getting excited about this artificial intelligence. And some people are excited, some people are worried. And what is it all about? Many people are still asking questions, and what it involves. And if I want to move from here to the next stage of artificial intelligence, am I ready? Organizations are worried about all those things. And do we have enough people to support the new technology? So all these questions are there. And especially from the project manager point of view, project program, PMO, portfolio managers, they also are also thinking, how can I utilize this new evolving technology to make my job simplified, easier, and enjoyable?
Absolutely. Well, I can really confirm it's a hot topic in Germany, but I think also in the world. And we had last year a big survey of IPMA with PwC on the impact of artificial intelligence having on project management and the project manager as a role. And let me start with the really good news for the project manager, because some were worried that they will lose their jobs, that robots will replace them, but that's not the case. So they will not be replaced. It's even the opposite. So they will be supported by a technology that takes over, let's say, the more administrative or repetitive tasks, so that the project managers can focus more on their real value work, which is more on the soft side of project management. So leadership, teamwork, collaboration with customers and suppliers and so on. So I think that's really important, because also in other industries, we see this discussion on artificial intelligence or robots will replace valuable work or employment, but that's not the case. It's just the opposite. So it creates new jobs. It helps also let's say the traditional jobs, and project management will certainly benefit from artificial intelligence.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's not about, yes, the worries if I lose my job, if I don't know the technology. Actually, there are a lot of things which human does cannot be replaced. What the machine can do, the repetitive work, or some intelligence, if you feed in, the intelligence has to be fed into the system so that the system can do. If you don't provide the intelligence, the system cannot do.
Absolutely, yes.
So there's no need to worry about losing job. Rather, you can expect to see some repetitive work can be done by your system or machine, so you can focus more on building your network, building your reputation with your client, and emotional intelligence, working with your staff team to get the job done even more efficiently.
Yes, I think artificial intelligence, if we see it from a role perspective, it can be the assistant of a project manager.
Yeah.
So as let's say an early warning system, of what is going on. Maybe the project is developing in a certain direction, which is not the positive direction. It can be an advisor for decisions that are necessary, because artificial intelligence or machine learning can identify pretty early, let's say, certain issues that you need to cope or tackle, and then also prepare decision-making proposals, or what is the direction you could go. And it's also an advisor from a, let's say, planning perspective, because if we use this technology that collects a lot of information, let's say from plans of other projects, and collates it and makes a proposal for your project plan, so it's much easier for you to perform certain tasks in project management, which are not necessarily a repetitive task, but rather a repetitive task with, let's say, project-specific add-ons. And that's exactly what the artificial intelligence is about. collating data, aggregating them, but also putting more insights and additional intelligence into that. Let's say like a recommender system or something which is behind neural network that helps you to move a step ahead. So it's, again, helping, it's an assistant, it's an advisor, which relieves also project manager from these kind of repetitive tasks.
Exactly. And believe it or not, many organizations, many portfolio managers, many project managers still relying on Excel spreadsheets. You know, when you start, it's look good, you know, 4, 5, 10, 15 projects. But before you realize the spreadsheet becoming very, very big and cumbersome and a lot of complexity in that. And, you know, information here, a lot of data is there, but it's not intelligent enough. But if you have a machine or if you have a system which can take the required data and give you, you know, do some massage and give you some intelligence, maybe a warning, as you mentioned, warning or alert or a direction, they can give you a few options. Hey, why don't you, if you utilize these resources in this way, you can get this kind of results. So you can produce some scenarios for you, scenario analysis.
Absolutely, yeah. We experienced that in automotive industry, especially here in Germany, that still this Excel spreadsheets, huge spreadsheets, and huge number of people just putting numbers from one Excel to the other. I think there are two benefits of using intelligent tools now to get rid of that kind of Excel wars. The one, because people are fed up doing that. So you hardly find somebody who is interested or motivated just to do this Excel juggling. And the other one is the effort, the cost for doing that is huge. And we have just, as Tiba, small tools like Power Automate or Power BI, which is based on Microsoft. It's pretty available in all the computer systems or IT infrastructure. And the one thing is what you need to learn how to use such a nice tool. And it helps you to automate processes, to retrieve data and put it in a dashboard or cockpit, which is designed to the needs of the management or the decision makers. And what you have done maybe in weeks of work on labor, on manual labor on your Excel, could be done in seconds, or let's say maximum in minutes, to pull that together into a dashboard and report. And I think that's the benefit, what drives into this utilization of artificial intelligence.
Absolutely, absolutely. And Reinhard, I mentioned about the platform we have built along with my partner in India. We call VxDCC, Virtual Transformation Digital Command Center. It's actually absolutely a command center where the data, which is coming in the form of resources, available resources, different type of resources with demand coming from different type of projects you have. So you need to marry them. If you just use the Excel spreadsheet, it can be very challenging, especially when you are managing 70, 100 or 200, 300 projects. So if you have this kind of system, which it can think as well. So the system we're talking here, it has a lot of machine learning and intelligence is there. You know, all the information, different type of resources, and that will give you some kind of intelligence, suggest you, hey, because you have limitation of funds, why don't we take these 5 projects, which will give you the most ROI, best ROI, or it is more aligned with strategic objective, or it is giving you a net present value and so on. So different calculation can be given by different system we have, or we talked about some system and the system we have created here.
Absolutely. So my question sometimes is, why are we not using that? Because if you look into the utilization of artificial intelligence and this kind of machine learning, it's really scarcely used throughout the industry. And the study of IPMA put it on the spot, saying that we all in project management need to learn technical skills. So it means what kind of tools are available, how do I use that tools, what is the purpose of those tools, and then just try it. At Tiba, we have the same experience. We also in the management board, we sometimes struggle just try it. And we have pushy employees who say, no, we don't send you an email. Now you go to this SharePoint or this point, then do it yourself. And frankly, if you do this one step, it's pretty easy. It's like kids' work sometimes, but you need to do this first step. And we should also help industry to really do those first steps and learn it through application and then build the technical skills. And it's not so that you need to program now and be an IT specialist. No, it means application of IT and tools to the good of your product management.
Absolutely, yeah. So the system's already given. I mean, it's being built nowadays. A lot of system being done. It's about utilization. One of the things, actually, I was talking to one of my students from this company. He's working for chemical company, and he's managing up to, I think, $300 million work at any time. So he said, Dharam, I'm using this system. I can add another system. And it is all about garbage in, garbage out. Of course, if you put the garbage in the dustbin, it will stay as garbage. But if you take the garbage into a recycle machine, then you can get something else. So it is also important the tool you want to have. Why? It is very important to change the mindset of people. And mindset is, we need to have information, right time, available, already submitted, updated. So you as a manager can see the information upfront by using dashboard or command center, whatever you call, and take the decision immediately as early as possible. And the system give you a warning or tell you, hey, this project is about to fail because you don't have the required resources. Then you do something. Instead of realize that after 2 months or after a week, when this should have been done, taken care a week before, now you realize it's too late.
Absolutely. And what you're describing is also a different skill set that we also need. So you spoke about, so why do we do that? It's a more kind of strategic thinking, also more long-term thinking ahead. So what kind of information do we need? And then these analytical skills that we need. So what is the problem? What is an approach to solve that problem? You also need this kind of creativity, creative thinking. On which path can we solve that? And then also, if you have found a solution, also this kind of learning. It's a continuous learning, continuous improvement process. So it's not one tool that solves everything at an instance, but it is more rather these, let's call it muddling through, try and error. Go step by step and try to make your way forward. And I think that's also my recommendation to big companies. Besides having a big digital strategy or so, just try it. Try small applications, go step by step and so on. And that takes the people also with you.
Exactly. If you just start with a big bang, hey, this is a new tool, I like it, let's try it, whole organization. No, I don't like this approach. Rather, take a system, if you like it, and try it out, go through the various scenarios, discuss with the scenarios, talk about your pain points, and see if the system can handle that scenario. And if you like it, then you say, okay, you know what, I want to try it out for a month or 2 with my 5 licenses. Give me 5 licenses, and I want to try with project managers, and then use it. It's not just take and sitting there. Use it as effectively as you can. And if you get the required expected results, then why not try it out in the full department? And if the results are, if you're getting better and better, then why don't you go out and deploy in the whole organization, so that you tested the knowledge or technique, the tool, and then deploy it. And motivate your team, let them learn, get them excited, and feel better about the tool they're using.
Absolutely. So now maybe we talk about a few nice approaches of that artificial intelligence. One is definitely also what we use quite a lot is robot process automation, because in many of the projects you have quite a lot of processes going on. Maybe it's in a legal department where they have a lot of cases, or in a development or R&D department. So there's a lot of data being processed through this kind of core or support processes. And having RPA in place, I think it's a big lever of automation. And there are many other things like deep learning. It's also something. So, for example, we have a deep learning translation app, because German language is not so common in the world. So we often need a translation into English. And there's a nice app that we use. It's called Deep Learning Translation. If you start working with it, so from each day to the other day, it improves because it learns through your translation jobs. So it's much better than the typical Google Translate or whatever we have, because it's learning from one translation to the other. And I think these kind of tools help very much also in the project to be much better off. And I think you're sure you have other applications in mind, right?
Yeah. You know, I have used Google itself as translator. I didn't know about other tools, but when I was working with my PMI members from Chile, they all were speaking Spanish, and I was the only one speaking English. And when I'm sending email, they are replying back to me in Spanish. Okay, you know what? I got Google, I copy and paste everything right, and they actually start thinking that I know the Spanish. And in the meeting, the problem happened when the meeting started, then start speaking to me in Spanish. Hang on. I don't have it translated at the moment. Please speak to me in English.
Yeah, but even that is possible, that in a really simultaneous way it is being translated. So that's also in some of the tools, like I think Zoom, you can have translation ongoing. I do not use that.
I tried that actually. I tried that. I was using GoToMeeting at the time, and the problem is what you speak and how it get converted to some other language. That's another thing.
Yes.
You're saying something and the meaning is interpreted differently, then things can go wrong. Anyway.
Yeah, but I think also we need to just try it and use it and so on. With this utilization, I think those tools will also improve and getting better from one application to the other, right?
Exactly. And you also learn, because if the system is not able to understand your particular words, then you speak differently. So that the meaning is also, it's also, about learning. Try, learn. If not working, then try, learn, and continue. It's a process improvement.
Yeah, and as my son is studying IT, he's also doing his master thesis in recommender systems, and I like that very much. So it's a neural network, and if you go to Amazon or any kind of these kind of platforms, and it will trace your way. So maybe a bit scary, because it's really tracing how long did you stay on which site or on which image. But at the end, it can recommend you what could be a next logical step for you to do, or what kind of product would be interesting. Now, if you translate that into project planning, that's the same here. So if you start with your project plan, maybe a schedule, it can recommend you how this schedule for the next 3 months could look like. I think this kind of application makes your life as a project manager much easier. And things like that, small kind of applications like what I just said, will come into the PM tools, in the scheduling tools, and make your life much easier. Recommender systems, that's the term.
Exactly. Some of these things can be automated very well, because the type of work is like a different. You are doing similar project every time. You don't want to start again from the very basics. So you already have something as a starting point schedule, and the system can also give you some direction. Hey, I think this kind of work, based on the past, it took. You're saying 2 days. It can take up to 4 days. Or make sure you understand the risks and issues involved in this, which is more complex than what you're thinking. So, and that's based on the lesson learned and based on your project performance as is happening now.
And we work also on some of the construction projects. And what we are now using very much in that area is building information modeling. So that's a combination of many, many tools. So for example, it's you have these 3D models of your building, but it's not only that 3D, it's 4D, because it shows you also the processes of how you do that. It can be 5D because it's showing the schedule and the development on a time base. It's 6D because it can show you the cost, and 7 and 8D. Now it can continue, and it's exactly what we call that 7D or 8D BIM, and that helps you very much because it gives you also a possibility, if you work on a virtual basis, that you work together with people far away that still see the actual design of that building or the progress of that building, and can derive their plans, their schedules, their work plans from that kind of model. And it integrates quite many of the suppliers and stakeholder of the project, because they can work on a live working model. So building information modeling is really pretty exciting, but it's also pretty complex because as it integrates so many dimensions, it's also very difficult to utilize, but also to learn. And so we need to train people to think and work in that kind of dimensions.
Yeah, I think the machine or system which people are using, or you should use, it should be simplifying your job. It should be easy to use, and all the thinking or lots of thinking has to be done by the system itself. And if we just spend more time and more energy in a new system, then you actually gone backward. The system should be, as I said, should smooth or ease your job, ease your life, so that you can focus more on the better things rather than worrying about the small pieces.
Absolutely. But if you now see in construction, if you have a laser scanner, you just send a drone or a laser scanner on the ground, and within minutes, or maybe if it's a big field, you can do it in hours, you can have an exact image of a 3D image of the site. And you can do that from milestone to milestone and see what is the progress, and can upload that to the whole system so that everybody can see that. And what is also very important, that you can prepare, because if you see in that 3D model, there are collisions. So you want to have a hole here, but there's a power line or something. It can immediately warn you, and you can just redesign, or before you start digging that hole, it pre-warns you. So I think it's a good warning, it's a good risk prevention system. And that's also very helpful for projects, because, in construction, sometimes you have nice plans, but then on the construction side, it's very different. And then you need to do all this redo work. And so with building information modeling and artificial intelligence, it's much easier to prevent that.
Yeah, it's not only, you mentioned artificial intelligence, but with the help of other technologies. We have like drones we're talking about. We have cloud technology, which is also helping you to work with multiple locations at the same time. And there are many emerging technologies which can help to help the project manager to work efficiently, and productivity can go up. Your interaction with your client going to be much better, because now you can give them more predictable information, and your engagement with your staff is going to be more healthier, because it's not about only work. You can think getting them becoming more productive. Less training required. It's not you have to train everything on the job, because a lot of things can be, the repeated work can be done by the system. So all the repeated work can be given to the system, and your team can focus more on building the intelligence into the system.
But I would say that these spread or variety of technologies helps to integrate information. And that's what I believe is also a precondition for artificial intelligence. So if, for example, you have a virtual reality or augmented reality, where you can just design in the studio how this building would look like. You spare quite a lot of physical models, and it speeds up the process very significantly in your project. But you need to utilize that. And then it can also integrate a lot of different perspectives. So from the supplier, from the, let's say, customer's perspective, and you can integrate that in one data model. That has the implication that your data systems and IT infrastructure must be up to date, because you are handling quite significant data. And then we need also to talk about IT security, because that's also a rising issue. But that's also now the preconditions. But it's amazing what is now available as technology to be integrated into one data model and helps us in projects.
Yeah, I mean, and that's integration is one thing. When you have multiple systems available, let's say you have I have a Salesforce, very powerful. I have a SAP, very powerful, Oracle financials, and this and that, all great. But bringing data and information in one place can be a challenge again. So, and if you cannot have a system which can collect all the data, then it's meaningless. So the one I was talking earlier, the VxDCC, we have all these modules in the same place. So what, sales happening one place, your supply chain, your human resource management, your project program portfolio management, all in one place. So data is already there. And reports, you can generate different type of reports. And you don't have to rely on Excel spreadsheets, which is one of the biggest enemy of enemy of our portfolio managers and program managers, project managers. I know you say, hey, he's my big friend. No, eventually it's like a virus. Initially you don't see that, but eventually it starts taking over your body. So the Excel is like that. I do rely on Excel many times, but if I can eliminate the Excels and having a powerful system which gives you warnings at the right time and help you to make decisions, that kind of thing, I think we should be talking.
Absolutely. But let's also talk about the negative side, the beast of that development. And here, especially in automotive industry, we are now triggered to do all these IT security, these cybersecurity processes, because there are even possibilities to get entry into cars driving autonomously on the Autobahn at high speed, and someone from external can hack it and make an accident and so on. And that's one thing. The other thing is that you have all your data in the cloud or somewhere under storage, and someone is blocking it with a password and ask for, let's say, some money to unblock it and so on. So nowadays we need to have huge efforts to protect these IT systems, to get it proof, because every day there are hundreds of kinds of attacks on this IT infrastructure, which is quite a threat. So integration is, on the other hand, this big risk that if you have all data in one place, that if somebody's getting access to it, you are screwed, right? Exactly.
So whatever system we select or whoever is selecting, you make sure you have tested it, security point of vulnerability test. And it's not just a system test integration, it's more than that. What if you have somebody attacking from outside? Firewall, do you have enough firewall in between to restrict anybody from outside? So that should be one of the criteria when you're selecting a new system, a new application. Looks good, great, all features are there. But what about the security? What about the vulnerability? What about the stress, volume test? Can this handle the huge amount of data I have? So that these things should be considered before a decision is made. And yes, you mentioned about the cloud. Data is sitting in cloud. A lot of security is provided by these companies. Of course, every time they say we are adding more security, that means they charge you more. And of course, sometimes it's good to have those security so that your data is not going into the hands of other people. So you need to balance that as well. The data or the cost benefit analysis. How much money I have to put and how much benefit I'm getting. Benefit is not just amount of money we're generating, about the saving or making, reducing the risk. That's also a benefit.
Yeah. But also our clients imposing IT security, let's say, certificates on us. So we need to prove, and somebody from external will look into those processes and technologies that we are using to be on the safe side. I thought it's also kind of a race between those that are attacking and those that are being attacked, trying to be always a step ahead, and that's costly. But it is necessary, otherwise we are in big trouble. And that's the same now with these tools. So we have also some limitations in utilizing certain tools.
Yeah.
One is, where is the data stored? So cloud is nice, but where is the cloud storage place? We, for example, in Europe, we clearly say not in the US, must be in our country, because of the jurisdiction is very different in your country, in the US, than opposed to Europe, data protection laws, etc. So that's one requirement, but then many others. So own infrastructure, who is allowed to enter the system, and two-factor authentication, or even more than that. So it's quite a lot of efforts.
And I think these things we still have to do, no matter what system we go to. Of course, the system are already coming. A lot of systems are coming with two-factor authentication or multi-factor authentication. So those are there. But as a client, we need to be very careful what we are buying and how much security is already there and how much I have to provide. So those things they still have to go through the checklist where the data is stored. If it is the companies in Europe, okay, they like to keep the data within Europe and a particular country. And in Australia, they like to keep in Australia. And sure. What if the data is sitting in some third world country, let's say in India or China or the place? They're cheaper. They can give, hey, we're going to give you, instead of $100 of this, we'll charge you $10. Sounds good. But what is the risk? How much safety is provided by them? Are they reliable? Those questions are definitely always there and should be considered. And we should not always think from the money point of view. We look at beyond money. It's cheaper versus, of course, value for money. It's not just how much I'm spending, but how much value I'm getting from that money.
Yes, and it's also intellectual property rights. That's another issue that we have also in automotive industry. We work globally because some countries just want to have intellectual property or access to the data, which is unacceptable let's say, in our Western thinking of we are free to act and have their own property rights on what we design, what we do. So that's also an issue, but let's not go deeper into that. I think it's very clear that it's very sensitive. There are a lot of opportunities, but on the other hand, using artificial intelligence, there are also quite a lot of disadvantages or risks that we need to be aware of and consciously deal with that.
Yeah. And do you see any opportunities for the project managers or people who would like to get into AI and machine learning to make the life better for future at this stage?
I think all of them will profit, not only in learning new skills, making your life and work easier, becoming more flexible and spare, let's say, time for your leisure, for relaxation, or for the real thing, the soft work. I think there will be some losses in the PMOs, because I believe that the PMO, some of the jobs in the PMOs will be lost in the future. And that's especially those people that are more concerned with these Excel spreadsheets, pulling reports together, people that are more in documentation and analyzing, business analysts and stuff, because that's repetitive. That's something that a computer or robot can do much better. So these kind of jobs will be going away. But for the project manager, I guess it's very beneficial, and it's a learning opportunity. So this is why I say everybody should get familiar with this kind of tools should just try it and make himself or herself comfortable with using it.
So the jobs you're talking about most likely go away, or they will be less available compared to now. So what they should be doing, they should get themselves into, hey, what can I do to lift myself at this stage so I can be future proof?
Absolutely, but that's exactly the opportunity side of IT or artificial intelligence. I was just doing 2 weeks ago for a very large company. The future PMO was the title, and I'd also positioned that topic in there because I said what you need in your PMO is quite a lot of technicians, let's say programmers that do this low code or no code programming. We call them citizen developers that help the project management team to do, let's say, through Power BI, Power Automate, or many other tools, these small, let's say, programs that help you to make your life easier and get rid of these Excels because you need automation. So you need people that do that. You do not need to go to the IT department, but you need to have some people in the PMO. So it means we need other qualifications in the PMO. So more technical oriented people that can do this kind of citizen developer job.
Yeah, and I think lots of universities start bringing this topic or subject into the curriculum, like AI, ML, because at the moment the demand is growing hugely, but
Absolutely.
we don't have enough people who have the skills, right skill. There are people, they claim they have skill, but they still don't have the right skill. So there is a huge opportunity for the people coming out from as a graduate to learn the right way of doing AI, ML, RPA, or many things which we're talking here. And you will be surprised. There are lots of jobs coming on your way, and which will give you not just money, but satisfaction as well.
Absolutely. So I'm really proud that my 2 sons are going exactly in that direction. On the other hand, we need to be aware that not everybody is eligible to go to university and can get access to this, let's say, good education that gives you employability and a future-proof job. So, but we also need to put more emphasis on these people that maybe are on a lower skill level and just give them the opportunity to learn these kind of small things. So I'm speaking that we need to avoid this gap between low and high qualified people and just also give those people a chance that come out of this, let's say, more administrative jobs and learn this kind of technology and not only give it to the university applicants.
Yeah. What I'm saying that this university people, they can come with lots of coding and thinking background, but the low skill, which is somebody who's doing repetitive work currently, and what about in 2 years, 3 years time when they have a new system, they may be helping in building the thinking or the process, repetitive process, and because they have the knowledge of that, they can bring the knowledge into the system and then learn, and they can help the project managers. The PMO people can help the PM project manager in better way.
Absolutely. So in Germany, we are, I think, well known for the dual education system. Also very much emphasis on vocational trainings. So that's people that are not, let's say, going for higher education, but very practical, hands-on, working on real industry jobs. And more and more you see those people using modern technologies, electronics, informatics, and other skills. And I think that's the good news, again, that we try to upskill people in the industry to use these kind of artificial intelligence or machine learning or whatever it is.
Yeah, I think it's an evolving technology. We should keep an eye on this and take every opportunity to find out how can I use this new technology to help me out, to do my job better, to make my client happier, to have the availability and flexibility and making my employer happy. So that should be one of the things people should take from this discussion. we have to, know, even if you don't want to, don't want to think about it now, it is coming. You need to be ready for that. You cannot be put your head down in the sand and it will pass and will be okay. No, you need to start thinking.
And this time is quite interesting because it shows that COVID-19, very disastrous, but it helped us to go more into this virtual world, digital world, and so on. And so now we are just doing it. So do we need another COVID or something to hit us? No, just do it, try it. And I think you will see it's very beneficial.
Exactly. And there are not lots of new tools are coming up in the market. So please try it out. And if you need something, guidance or from Tiba and Reinhard can help, or if you're looking for a tool or system, which we have been building and the system is ready to be implemented. We have a number of clients, including Formula One and a few others, also trying it out. It is going to be useful. And as I said, make sure you go talk to the people with your pain points. Is your system going to help me to eliminate my pains? How is it going to benefit me and reduce my cost as well? If you have multiple systems, SAP, everything, then you are paying a lot of money to other. If you have one system which can help you to reduce your cost, get your job done better, make your customer, your client, or your staff and your management happy, why not?
Very good discussion. Thank you.
So thank you, Reinhard, once again. We have been talking various topics, and this is something new, hot, and it is needed. We need to talk more about these things, new technology, emerging technology. So people, if they're finding it beneficial, why not? They can also suggest us some topic. Hey, can Reinhard, Dharam, can you please give us some, thoughts around this topic? What is this? What can you help us to simplify the learning? So thank you very much, Reinhard, and it's again pleasure talking with you, and especially on this topic. Thank you, and I will see you soon again with another topic.
Thank you. Bye-bye.